just thought I'd invite you down today with the rods and the cameras and spend the day fishing and filming around CANNOP ponds in the heart of the Forest of Dean, my home, a place I've lived for close to 40 years now. And the lake itself is considerably older than 40 years. It's been here somewhere in the region of 200 years, and it's kind of a focal point for the whole of the forest, really. It's somewhere people come to enjoy the peace, the tranquility, the surroundings of this beautiful location, and it really is stunning. It's got a few problems ahead of it. There's a few issues that the ponds are facing. And I just thought having you here today might highlight some of those and help build the profile of what we're trying to achieve in saving the ponds from potentially being removed from the landscape altogether. But before we get into that, I sort of just lay out a little bit of the history of what we've got here. So the ponds are created for industry with ironworks downstream of here, a colliery further up the valley. Obviously the timber from the forest itself would have once been used for our navy and sent down south for shipbuilding. But to this day, you know, the forest is a living, working landscape. The softwood plantations are harvested on rotation, with the timber being sold to mills all over the UK. So having said all that about the history of the ponds and the history of the Forest of Dean, it's sad to now see that a place such as this is under threat. The powers that be have deemed the dams on both this pond and the top pond above us, they are no longer, they don't meet current engineering standards, which is understandable. They've been there for 200 years, you know, they're not going to meet current engineering standards, and therefore the powers that be have put forward a plan to remove the dams and to rewild the valley, the whole landscape from the top of the very first pond we see up on our right hand side all the way down through here. This would all go, both dams removed, on through the valley. The lakes would vanish, they'd be erased from the landscape, which is a travesty, criminal really, because they've become such an integral part of the landscape, and what was created for industry, literally turning the water wheels of industry. They are now threatened with being completely eradicated, erased. And although, yeah, they were created with a different purpose in mind, you know, nature has reclaimed these ponds. They no longer serve the purpose they were intended for, but so many people now make use of them. The amount of dog walkers, cyclists, picnickers, holiday makers that come here and enjoy the whole of the Forest of Dean. Not just CANNOP ponds, but this is a big draw for people. And locally it's really appreciated. You know, a lot of people come here, and a lot of people really would miss having this on their doorstep. So I feel any small part I can play in raising the profile of this and helping to save CANNOP ponds, it's time well spent, it's effort well put in. It needs safeguarding. Many years ago, I first started fishing when I was around about 7 years old, perhaps a little bit younger. So for more than 30 years I've been an angler, and this is one of the places where I cut my teeth. This is where I came with my little 6-foot rod and, you know, fishing around the margins for whatever came along, bits and pieces. Back then it was gudgeon and small perch. And then you move on through your angling career, and you find new challenges, and the fish get bigger and the challenges get bigger. But places like this are very important, you know, particularly for us as anglers. This is an open access club water where anybody can come along and you can pay your money, £6 a day, and have a chance to get into this wonderful pastime, you know. And a place like this really does educate you, not only in the ways of angling, but in the natural world. Today we've been here and we've seen kingfishers, we've seen grey wagtails, herons. It is alive, you know, there's damselflies, dragonflies. The margins are crawling with all kinds of little tiny inverts and swan mussels. That it is just, it's such an immersive place, this. You do feel like you've travelled back in time almost. You know, the great old ancient oaks like the one I'm sat below now that just tower over, create these wonderful little canopies that you can sit in the shade of and just while away the days. For this to be lost and replaced with anything would be absolutely criminal. So as a forest lad, you know, growing up, spending my entire life here, I think we really need to stand firm on this, save CANNOP ponds, and maintain this, because I want to be able to bring my little boy up here and I want him to fish. So I just feel that it's very important that it is safeguarded for future generations. So yeah, if I can inspire any one of you watching this to maybe go and find our petition, Save CANNOP Ponds, at thechange.org, add your name to the list, show a little bit of support. You may not be from the Forest of Dean, you may not be local at all, but you may have waters similar to this on your doorstep that you want to see protected for future generations, and maybe that you enjoy and your kids will enjoy. You know, it's important that we don't just let these things be steamrolled and erased from the landscape. So like I say, there is a petition. I think we're currently sat on around about 9,000 people have signed it. Change.org, Save CANNOP Ponds, add your name, show your support, and I know I would be very grateful, and many other local residents, not just the anglers, would be very, very grateful for your support. So yeah, I mean, thanks for coming down and help me raise the issue. So I really appreciate your time, and lots of other people are putting in similar efforts to sort of safeguard what we've got. So yeah, thank you very much. I think the ponds have got a deep-rooted history within the heritage of the Forest of Dean and within the landscape of the forest. But also my connection with them is quite deeply rooted in the fact that I grew up here and I learnt to fish here and I spent summers here with my friends. And for them to go, the sad thing would be that no one else would ever get that chance again. And I feel that that is what really needs protecting. And that's not just being selfish as an angler, that is...
There's got to be a lot of people in your shoes.
Yeah. There'll be people that enjoy this place for different reasons, and for it to go, and to think that nobody else, the chaser there, look. But it's sad that it all comes down to money, and that something like this can be lost because the powers that be decide they are not going to repair the issues that there are, and that the monetary value overtakes what the place means to people, which is where I struggle to square that, because this place will help people in more ways than just me and you coming here and catching a few carp. There will be people that need places like this for far greater reasons than that, for peace and solace of their own, to come and sit and relax and escape from everything. Yeah, you know. And these places are little gems. There's certainly little gems within the Forest of Dean. You say I'm a forester born and bred, and I can't imagine him not being here, really. You know, you say CANNOP ponds, and everyone knows, oh, that's Forest of Dean, heart and soul of it, you know.